he has back acne, so I think that he is on steroids. As Nate Diaz said, everyone's on steroids. Magomedov, he's a one-eye PD. He only has actually one eye. If you kind of think about it, if he gets eye poked, he's kind of fucked. What's up, boys? Coming here with another quick picks video. Today we're breaking down UFC 308, Topuria versus Holloway. This is an insane card. This is one of the biggest cards of all time, definitely of the year. Let's get into it. First fight up, Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. This is a welterweight bout. Rinat is 23-2, coming at -278. Carlos Leal is 21-5, coming at +225. I'd say that Rinat, he has really good wrestling. He's got really good control. He has fast hands and he's got good power, so he can stay on the feet. But I'd say his only problem is he trolls around a little bit too much. He kind of steers away from his game plan. Carlos Leal, on the other hand, he has a lot of forward pressure. He kind of just walks people down and breaks them with his striking, and he has really explosive and powerful punches. I'd say he has a really good one too. He has back acne, so I think that he is on steroids, so that could be something to consider in this fight. But as Nate Diaz said, everyone's on steroids, so we're not, I don't know. Carlos Leal, I'd say he hasn't really proven to stop takedowns, and especially at the level of Rinat Fakhretdinov. Pretty much all his matchups, Carlos Leal is just forward pressure on everybody, breaks them down, and if he doesn't have better striking, then he just uses the takedown to smother people. But I think in this matchup, Rinat Fakhretdinov, he can pretty much take down most people in the division, especially somebody like Leal. He's beaten people better than him. So the pick is going to be Rinat Fakhretdinov, low-medium confidence, just because he trolls around a little bit too much, doesn't stick to his game plan always. I think that this fight will go to decision just because Carlos Leal is really tough, and he's on steroids possibly. So the low-medium confidence in this fight going decision. Next fight up, Ismail Naurdiev versus Bruno Silva. This is a middleweight bout. Ismail is 23-7, coming at -170. Bruno Silva is 23-11, coming at +142. I'd say that Ismail, he's really technical, he's fast, he has great kicks. He can get taken down though, and I'd say that he's been a little bit too inactive to fully trust him. In his last 3 fights, he has 2 losses coming in the first round, got submitted and then knocked out. So he's been a bit too inactive for my liking, but he is technical, he is fast, he is the better striker in this matchup. And I'd say Bruno Silva, he is a striker who has knockout power. And I feel like this matchup is really close to the matchup against Shara Magomedov, where he is the worst striker, but he has to get takedowns in this fight because Ismail, he has shown to get taken down, but he has wrestling of his own. I feel like I'm feeling pretty good for Ismail, but the only worry is that he's been inactive. He has definitely proven to get taken down, and I'd say the only thing is Bruno Silva, he isn't really a wrestler. He's a striker who has power. Anytime he has been the worst striker, he has went for takedowns, and I think that he will go for takedowns in this fight. It's just whether or not he can get him and keep him down and do enough damage. Against Magomedov, he wasn't really able to control him and get damage. He was just pretty much just laying on top of him. I think that Ismail, he hasn't fought in a while. I'm hoping that he has improved in his wrestling and he's been sharpening his tools. I think that he's a better striker in this matchup. So I think in a striking matchup, if Bruno Silva isn't able to get the takedowns, which he's a striker, not a wrestler, I think that Ismail should be able to win by decision. So my pick is going to be Ismail. Low-medium confidence in the pick and low confidence in this fight going decision. Next fight up, Victor Hugo versus Farid Basharat. This is a bantamweight bout. Hugo is 25-4, coming out +455. Basharat is 12-0, undefeated, coming at -625. I'd say that Hugo, he's a good striker and has submissions. He throws a lot of heat. I'd say that he can get pushed against the cage, which is the biggest worry in this fight, and that's why I feel like I'm pretty confident in Basharat, just because he can get pressured and then he keeps going against the cage, which I feel like is just a setup for Basharat to get takedowns. Basharat, he has great wrestling, he has good striking, and he sticks to his game plan. I feel like he's fine and he can hang on the feet with a lot of people, especially at Hugo's level. And I think that he goes for takedowns. Every single fight, he goes for takedowns. He likes getting that control. He has submissions of his own. I'd say that him sticking to the game plan is the reason why I have so much confidence in him. I think the odds are a bit wide. Hugo, he definitely has a chance to hurt Basharat, especially since Basharat his brother ended up getting fraud checked by Zahabi. But I'd say that Basharat, he's a lot more technical. He's a lot more safe. He sticks to his game plan a lot more. He doesn't really fuck around. Basharat has great takedowns, and I think that he's just going to be able to get the takedowns by pressing him against the cage and just getting the takedowns pretty easy. So my pick is going to be Basharat, medium-high confidence in the pick, and medium confidence in this fight going decision. Next fight up, Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. This is a heavyweight bout. Kennedy is 12-5, coming at minus 650. Barnett is 23-8, coming at plus 470. I'd say Kennedy, he is a good striker. He sometimes needs a little bit of time to get going. His first round could be a little bit wishy-washy, but he honestly starts to pick it up a little bit more, especially once he starts getting a little bit more confidence. He starts building a lot more success, starting putting his punches together. But I'd say he is a bit unreliable in the aspect of he's not able to get going in the first round all the time. He is tall, he is long. In this matchup, he has an 8-inch reach advantage. He has an 8-inch height advantage as well, so he has all the advantages to win this fight, and that's why I'm really confident in him. He pretty much has everything going for him. If he ends up losing this fight, he probably should look to probably call it quits, because Chris Barnett, he has flashy strikes. He is honestly, he probably performs a lot better, and he is a lot better than what he should be, but he shouldn't be a heavyweight fighter. He's like 5'10", he's short, he's fat. He hasn't really beaten anybody good. He's really faced only people who are also fat and not that athletic and doesn't have that much advantages over him. And I feel like Kennedy, he should be able to steam past Chris Barnett here. I honestly think that he will find the knockout because he does have power. So Kennedy, medium-high confidence in the pick and medium confidence in the KO. I think that he's going to knock him out in the first round. Next fight up, Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. This is a middleweight bout. Abus is 26-6, coming in at minus 142. Ferreira is 12-1, coming at plus 120. I'd say Abus, he kind of usually likes starting fast, but he kind of started to edge away from that game plan just because in 2 of his fights, he kind of ended up gassing out. And the Sean Strickland fight was probably the nail in the coffin that kind of made him switch his style a little bit. He definitely can do both styles, but he kind of comes out too hard in the first round, and he kind of switched it to just being a little bit more composed, getting more wrestling going. In his last fight against Warley Alves, he kind of just wrestled him. He didn't really want to gas out. Maybe he felt a little bit embarrassed gassing out by Sean Strickland, getting finished by him in the second round. He definitely has power. He's really technical, and I think that the wrestling is definitely making this fight an interesting matchup. Bruno, on the other hand, he has one-punch power. He is a bulldozer. His nickname is the Hulk, and he definitely is strong. He can take people down on his own as well. The only question on him is probably his cardio, because he has a lot of finishes. Every fight, I think, actually has been finished. Most of them in the first round. He hasn't really shown to go late. His takedown defense is decent just because he's strong and explosive in the first round, so people aren't really doing much to him in the first round. He has a great first round, and I'd say that Magomedov, he might get lulled into the fight a little bit and coming out a little bit too strong here. I think that he definitely needs to use his wrestling, but I'd say Bruno Ferreira, he's a bit too powerful. He's a bit too bulldozery. I think that he will be able to find the knockout blow. The confidence level isn't too high. So the pick is going to be Bruno Ferreira, low confidence in the pick, but I think that he's going to knock him out in the first round just because that's kind of what he does. So I think that this fight will go finish. Medium confidence in this fight going finish, and I think that it will be a KO. So give me Bruno Ferreira, first round knockout. Next fight up, Myktybek Orolbai versus Mateusz Rebecki. This is a lightweight bout. Orolbai is 13-1, coming at minus 310. Rebecki is 19-2, coming in at plus 240. Orolbai, I gotta be repping him in this fight. He's a Kyrgyzstan fighter. Gotta rep Kyrgyzstan here. I'd say that he is an aggressive and smothering fighter. He's an all-around package because he has wrestling. He's got good grappling. He's got good striking. He pretty much mixes in everything in his fights. But I'd say the only thing on him is that his control could be a little bit better. He has been reversed in his fights a little bit. But I'd say that it's kind of nitpicking just because he is really smothering. He puts on a pace. He has good striking. He has power. He has submissions. He's kind of got it all. I think that he is a good prospect. I think this fight is a good fight to see exactly where he is at. If he's able to put away Rebecki, it will make him a better prospect, and I think that he will put him away here. Rebecki, he's powerful, he's explosive, he has wrestling and submissions. He has a great first round. That's kind of like a double-edged sword though, because his first round is great. He can put a lot of people away in the first round, but that's kind of why he has cardio problems, because his pace is relentless in the first round. It's hard to hold and hard to keep. And I think that Orolbai, he can withstand that first round. He can even win that first round. I don't doubt that he can win it. I think his takedowns are too good. He has good ground and pound. He has good submissions. If this fight stands on the feet, I think that he can win this fight. I think that in the second and third round, he definitely will be able to put a pace on Rebecki that he won't be able to hold, and I think that he'll just smother him into knocking him out. The pick is going to be Orolbai, medium confidence in the pick, and I think that he'll knock him out in the second or third. The prediction will be a knockout in the second, but I'd say I have medium confidence in this fight going finish, but got to rep the Kurg. Next fight up, Geoff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos. This is a welterweight bout. Neal is 15-6, coming at -298. Dos Anjos is 32-16, coming at +240. Neal, he's a clean striker who likes keeping the fight on the feet. He's powerful. I'd say his losses are only really coming to people who are the better striker, and in this matchup, I feel like he's the better striker. Rafael dos Anjos, he's an all-arounder. He's been champ before, but I'd say he's kind of an old vet. Like, he definitely is still tough. He can still hang in there with people, but I feel like Neal, he kind of has to get takedowns in this matchup, and I feel like Neal has pretty good takedown defense. He really isn't getting taken down by many people, and many people aren't really able to hold him down. And I feel like Dos Anjos, although he is good, he's a legend. I'd say that he is kind of definitely on his way out. And Neal, he might not be like a top guy, but I feel like his striking is better in this matchup. And if this fight is standing on the feet, I feel like Neal is able to piece his way up to a decision victory. So the pick is going to be Neal by decision. Medium confidence in the pick. Medium confidence in this fight going decision. Next fight up, the last fight on the prelims. Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Cerqueira. This is a light heavyweight bout. Ibo Aslan is 13-1, coming at -108. Rafael is 11-0, undefeated, coming at -112. I'd say that Aslan, he's a brawler who's tough. He can take a lot of punishment. All his wins are coming by KO. He honestly doesn't really have too much skill. That's why he likes the brawling fights, and he can have success in those brawling fights. His cardio is a question just because he hasn't really ever seen the scorecards. Rafael, on the other hand, he's undefeated. He has 10 finishes. He has submissions. He only one fight going to the decision. So kind of shows maybe he has better cardio, but it's kind of hard to say because they're both going against like lower level people. And I'd say both of these guys are good. Rafael is flashy, and I feel like he has better technique. And I think that this fight will be a striking matchup, so I feel like I'm going to favor the person who has better technique. Someone who is able to just keep distance and not really rush into stuff and just blast and bang away in the pocket. So my pick is going to be Rafael. Low confidence just because Ibo Aslan has power. I think that this fight will end in KO. Medium high confidence in this fight ending in finish. But the pick is going to be Rafael. Low confidence. Next fight up, starting off the main card, Shara Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. This is a middleweight bout. Magomedov is 14-0, coming at -155. Armen Petrosyan is 8-3, coming at +130. Magomedov, he's a one-eye PD. He only has actually one eye. He's a technical striker, but he doesn't really have wrestling defense. He can do a lot of damage on the ground, but taking him down is pretty easy. I feel like him having one eye is a big thing that you should worry about in this fight, just because if you kind of think about it, if he gets eye poked, he's kind of fucked. He actually cannot see. He has a fake eye in the other eye. But he is technical. He has a lot of output. He is flashy. He throws a lot of good technique. Him being active on the bottom, if he gets taken down, is definitely a good thing because he does a lot of damage on the bottom, but he isn't really urgent to get up. Armen Petrosyan, he's a technical striker, and he's kick heavy. He throws a lot of kicks in his fights. He really likes kicking to the body, kicking to the legs. And I think that in this fight he should mix in wrestling, just because Magomedov has a hole in his game of getting taken down. Even though Armen Petrosian isn't really a wrestler, he has been shown to mix in wrestling in his fights. I feel like he is a technical striker, and it's kind of hard to say who is the better striker. Definitely on the eyes, Magomedov is the flashier, and it seems like he's the more technical guy. But Armen Petrosian, he is good on the feet. He's really technical. I like him in this matchup just because I feel like he's the better overall fighter, just because he can mix in takedowns. Magomedov being able to get taken down pretty easy and being controlled and not really urgent off the ground isn't something I like seeing. But Magomedov definitely is good on the feet. Petrosian, he has beat better guys, I feel like, than Magomedov. And Magomedov, although he is 14-0, I feel like he definitely is beatable just by somebody who has better wrestling than him and has good control. He would definitely lose a matchup like this. So not much confidence just because Petrosian isn't a wrestler, but I think that Petrosian will win. Low confidence in the pick. I think that this fight will go decision with medium confidence, but I'd say that this fight could go either way. It just depended on if Petrosian will get the takedowns. Next fight up, Dan Ige versus Lerone Murphy. This is a featherweight bout. Ige is 18-8, coming at plus 220. Murphy is 14-0, coming at minus 270. Ige, he has good combos. He's got some power. He definitely has knockouts. But I'd say that his problem is that he gets taken down. He definitely is fundamentally good. He has a good stance. He has good combos. He is a good striker. But I'd say his problem is getting taken down. And Lerone Murphy, he is really fundamentally sound. He has probably the better striking in this matchup. And I think that the fight against Barboza really showed that he is a really good prospect in the division. And I think that Ige is kind of one of those guys that gets beaten by the top guys, but he's kind of a gatekeeper of top 10. Murphy, he definitely has good wrestling. He mixes it in well. He has great cardio. And I feel like, yeah, that matchup against Barboza, or that fight against Barboza, was just, it kind of really showed to me. I thought that Barboza would be able to beat him, and what he did to Barboza, really nobody has done. The output, the cardio, the wrestling, everything, he really put it all together, and I think that Murphy is definitely one to look out for. He's definitely a good prospect. This fight is really interesting just because I will say a lot if he does what I think he'll do to Ige. So medium confidence in Murphy. I think that this fight will go to the decision with medium confidence. Next fight up, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. This is a light heavyweight bout. Ankalaev is 19-1, coming at minus 360. Rakic is 14-4, coming at plus 285. Ankalaev, I think that he's champ level. I think that he honestly should have been champ. He should have beat Blachowicz. I think that he's great everywhere. He doesn't really use his wrestling enough, though. I think that in a lot of his fights, he honestly should just go for the takedown and just ground and pound them or just control them. But he kind of likes standing on the feet. He is a really good striker, and he prefers standing on the feet. But I'd say that his wrestling is a lot better than most people in the division. He should be able to take down Rakic. I think that this fight probably will be standing, though. Ankalaev likes striking, and I think that kind of favors Rakic because Rakic is fast, he's technical, and he throws a lot of heat. His leg kicks are heavy, and I feel like what made the fight against Blachowicz and Ankalaev close was the leg kick. So that could be a worry in this fight just because Rakic does have really good kicks. But I'd say that Rakic can get broken down with pressure. In his last fight, Yuri Prochazka, he honestly had a bad first round. Rakic was looking really good. He had really good kicks, really good technique, and pieced him up in the first round, and then he maybe started to tire a little bit, got cracked, and kind of got broken down. And I think that Ankalaev, this fight being a 3-round fight, definitely favors Rakic, but I'd say Ankalaev, he will be able to win on the feet, smother Rakic in this fight, and I think that he can take him down and have an easy victory, but he'll probably be on the feet, and I think that he'll knock him out. I think that Ankalaev will knock him out in the later rounds just because Rakic does have a really good first round. I think that in the second or third, but the prediction will be Ankalaev by second round knockout. Medium confidence in Ankalaev and low medium confidence in this fight going finish. Heading straight into the breakdown, Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. This is a middleweight bout, title contender fight. Robert Whittaker is 26-7, coming at plus 180. Khamzat Chimaev is 13-0, coming in at minus 218. Honestly, the odds, I feel like it is a bit disrespect on Whittaker just because he's been champ before. He's been proven. He's been proven to survive tough tests. Khamzat Chimaev is a different animal. He's a fucking demon. He's a crazy grappler. He has an insane first round. In his last fight against Usman, it was clear that he is an elite grappler. He took him down, had his back, 10-8'd him, and in rounds 2 and 3, it was close, but honestly, I don't really see how people had Usman draw that fight. I think that Khamzat Chimaev still found dominant position, still was able to take him down. He's got some crazy elite wrestling, crazy elite grappling, but he honestly wasn't able to finish him, which Whitaker is proven to survive. If you watch the fights against Yoel Romero, he ate an insane amount of punishment, was rocked multiple times, still ended up surviving. Maybe shouldn't have deserved to win that fight. Should have been a draw, but Robert Whitaker is a monster. He's a beast. He's honestly one of my favorite fighters. He's got some great wrestling takedown defense. He can take a beating. He's proven. His striking is really elite. He's got a really nice in and out style. He's just coming off a knockout victory against Ikram Aliskerov, which I called to a T that he would be able to knock him out. And I'd say that this is a tough one just because I feel like Khamzat Chimaev will be able to get a takedown in the first round. It's just whether or not Robert Whitaker will be able to survive that first round. Robert Whitaker is going to be definitely one of Khamzat Chimaev's toughest tests. He has only really faced one person that is at the elite level, which is Usman, but that was short notice Usman. Also is maybe on the downfall. It's hard to say, but he is definitely slipping with a knockout loss against Edwards, then got decision by Edwards, and then lost against Khamzat Chimaev. I'd say that Robert Whitaker's takedown defense is elite, but I'd say he probably has worse takedown defense than Kamaru Usman, and he was able to hold him down to get takedowns. But if you look back at Khamzat Chimaev when he fought Gilbert Burns, he took him down 2 times, but Gilbert Burns was able to pop back up, not really get controlled too much on the ground, and it just became a stand-up fight. If this fight becomes standing, I think that Robert Whitaker will be able to have his way on the feet. On the ground is a different ball game, but if Robert Whitaker is able to survive the first round, I think that Khamzat Chimaev is in trouble. It's crazy hard to finish him. He has no quit in him. He'll keep going until he dies, but same goes with Whitaker. Whitaker, if you're not putting him out, he's going to keep fighting for his life. And I think that Khamzat Chimaev would break before Robert Whitaker just because of cardio. I think that Khamzat Chimaev has looked more sluggish as the fight goes on. Looking at the Usman fight, he went for a lot of takedowns, which ended up gassing him out, and I think that he has to use his wrestling in this fight. If this fight is a stand-up fight only, I honestly see him getting knocked out in the later rounds. I'd say that Robert Whitaker, this is a crazy close fight. Not too confident in it, but Robert Whitaker, as long as he's able to survive this first round, not get into anything crazy, not get his back taken, not rush out of the position, and that will avoid him getting caught into something, because Khamzat Chimaev is clinical. He is fierce. He's honestly got one of the best first rounds in MMA. So Robert Whitaker can't take him lightly at all. He has to make sure that he is on lock, stuff the takedowns as much as he can, but I think that he's definitely going to get taken down. It's just whether or not he can stand back up or not. And I think that's just the whole fight is Robert Whitaker able to get up from the takedown? I honestly think that he will definitely struggle, but I see him getting outside the first round. He's hard to put away. And I think that after the first round, Robert Whitaker will start edging it. And I think later, as the fight goes on, Chimaev will start to gas and gas. He won't be able to hang on the feet with Whitaker. I think that Whitaker will end up finding that shot and knocking out Khamzat Chimaev. Even though, as crazy as that even sounds, saying it, I feel like Robert Whitaker, he has been looking crazy good. I'd say Robert Whitaker is able to survive the first round. He's able to find his shots, tire out Chimaev, and find the knockout shot in the fourth round. I think as the fight goes on, it's going to be Whitaker all day. So I'm favoring Whitaker. Crazy low confidence because I feel like Khamzat Chimaev can be the next champ, but Whitaker is too much of my boy. There's definitely bias in this pick, but I'd like to see Whitaker be the new champ. I'd like to see Whitaker win this fight, but I think the winner of this fight is going to be the champ. I'd say Whitaker ends up on top. Whitaker by fourth round knockout is going to be my pick. Low confidence in the pick, medium confidence in this fight going finish. Heading straight into the breakdown, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. This is a featherweight bout for the featherweight world title. Ilia Topuria is 15-0, coming in at -238. Max Holloway is 26-7, coming at +185. I feel like the odds are a little bit whack just because Ilia Topuria was like a minus 130 or something like that against Volkanovski, knocked him out and becomes the -238 favorite over Max Holloway. Max Holloway has only been dropped one time against Justin Gaethje. He's never been knocked out. I'd say that he's faced everybody that has power. He's faced all kinds of people. He's an all-time legend. He's an all-time great. -238 I feel like is a bit steep, but I definitely favor him in this fight. Looking back, when Ilia Topuria knocked out Volkanovski, I'd say that he honestly was getting touched up. First round, he's getting touched up. Second round, both those rounds were close until it ended. I'd say Ilia Topuria's game plan, though, was to just keep walking forward, close off the cage, and just find his big shots. He always ends up finding his big shots. That's like the worry about this fight and this fight going decision and Max Holloway being so tough. I think that he is going to get touched up in this fight, and I think that he will get hurt, but I think that he's just tough enough to survive. Max Holloway, if you look back at the fight he had against Dustin Poirier, it was a bit ago, but I'd say that Dustin Poirier, he had the power advantage, and I feel like it's a bit similar like this fight. Ilia Topuria has the power advantage. He likes walking forward. Dustin Poirier found a lot of success walking forward against Max Holloway. It kind of cut off all the output that Max had. It stumbled him. He ended up finding his shots. Max was a bit open in that fight. That was still prime Max when he still had the belt too. I'd say that Max Holloway, he honestly has only been dropped by Justin Gaethje. He's coming off of one of the greatest knockouts of all time. He was cooking Justin Gaethje last 10 seconds, pointed down and said, "I'm gonna knock you out." And he fucking knocked him out in the last second. And Ilia Topuria is talking a lot of shit, saying that in the first 10 seconds he's going to point down and he's going to want to bang with him, and he's trying to get the fastest knockout by fists. And honestly, I don't really know what to take at that. I don't know if he will end up doing that or Max is going to end up sticking to that if he points down, but I guess we'll see what happens. But I'd say that Topuria, he honestly doesn't really force anything. He has crazy knockout power. That he's only not knocked out two people in his UFC career, which is Josh Emmett and Yusuf Salal, which he used his wrestling. And I feel like that's something that he always has in his back burner. He has wrestling, he has grappling, along with the knockout power and technical striking. I'd say Max Holloway, he has some crazy output. His boxing fundamentals are out of this world. And he also has really good takedown defense. Nobody really takes him down and holds him down. That hasn't been seen. So I think that if Topuria mixes in wrestling, he honestly wouldn't really, I don't really see him holding him down. Or if he gets a takedown, I think that Max Holloway would just really bounce back up. But I think that stuff like that in a close fight like this can be what wins you the close rounds and edges you out in a decision. I honestly, it's hard for me to say or think that Ilia Topuria can knock out Max Holloway just because he's just an all-time great, all-time legend. You can't hate the guy, especially coming off that knockout win against Justin Gaethje. It's just, it's really tough to pick against him. I think Max Holloway needs to use his leg kicks, use his jab, circle around the cage, and just keep his distance away from Topuria, just because he really likes just closing in the distance, pushing against the cage, which also can unlock his wrestling and find his big shots. That's how he ended up finding his big shot against Volkanovski, where he just kept slowly edging him against the cage, kept walking him down, eating his shots, but finding bigger shots to land. And the power advantage is definitely on Topuria. I'd say that this is like somewhat similar to the fight against Dustin Poirier, just because the power advantage is for Topuria. Max Holloway has the output, but I feel like that output will be distinguished a little bit because of Topuria walking him down, keeping him on his back foot. So I'm kind of forced to pick Topuria here. I think that his game plan, his overall wrestling and grappling will edge him out in a decision. I think that this could be a back and forth, but I think that Topuria will just find the bigger shots, land the more devastating blows, which will win him the rounds. It could be close. I don't really have much confidence in him winning just because I feel like I can see Max winning in this fight. He definitely has a path. He definitely, Ilia Topuria is getting rated really high. He's coming off a great win. Both of them coming off great wins, but Topuria is looking hard to stop, but Max Holloway is a different breed. He doesn't get chinned. So, low confidence in the Ilia Topuria pick and low confidence in this fight going decision, but I have Ilia Topuria by decision. Low confidence in the decision, low confidence in the pick. That's going to be my quick picks video on UFC 308 Topuria versus Holloway. Thanks for watching.